Welcome, you relentless force of existence. Welcome to this moment where your breath steadies your destiny, where the air around you shifts because you showed up where the night itself stops to listen, because something in you has awakened and it refuses to go back to sleep. You stand here not as a spectator, not as an echo in someone else's story, but as the storm they never expected, and the revelation they were never prepared to understand. I welcome you with words forged in pressure and sharpened by reality, words meant for the ones who carry a fire inside them that they never asked for, yet refuse to extinguish. This is for you, the one walking through shadows, but refusing to collapse beneath them, the one who learned how to stand without applause, how to rise without permission, how to keep breathing when the world around you feels like it can't, because of what people know about you. Special forces got involved, and they can't breathe. And the truth is, neither can the doubts that once tried to contain you. They crumble at your presence, they suffocate under the gravity of your becoming. They fall silent because they know something you haven't fully realized yet. You don't realize who you are. You have been walking through your life carrying weights that weren't made for ordinary shoulders. You have been surviving storms that would have folded others in half. You have been stepping into battles you didn't announce but still conquered. People watched and people whispered because something about you does not match the limits they live by. They sense it, they feel it, they react to it before they can explain it. They see your restraint, your quiet endurance, your silent strength, and it unnerves them because quiet power is the most dangerous kind. And because they sensed it, special forces got involved, not literally, but symbolically, because the level of pressure you face is reserved only for those who can carry it, only for those built to withstand it, only for those whose future requires training in the shadows where no one claps and no one comforts and no one saves you. Life assigns impossible missions only to those meant to complete them. Life deploys special challenges only to those whose identity demands evolution. You don't realize it yet, but the obstacles you face are not punishments. They are recognition. They are acknowledgement. They are proof that you are not here to live small. You think that the weight on your shoulders is random. You think the darkness around you is personal. But the truth is, the pressure is a sign of your rank in the unseen hierarchy of resilience. The challenges you carry are not meant to break you. They are meant to calibrate you. They are meant to activate the deeper parts of you, the ones that only reveal themselves when everything else has been stripped away. People talk. People assume, people judge because of what they know about you. But what they don't understand is how little of your truth they have actually witnessed. They see the surface of your story, but not the storms you survived. They see the calm in your eyes, but not the battles behind them. They see your endurance, but not the nights you spent rebuilding yourself quietly, without recognition, without applause, without promises. They don't know the versions of you that died, so a stronger one could live. They don't know the moments where your hands shook, but you kept moving anyway. They don't know the fear you walked through, or the strength you didn't realize you were building. And now, because of what people know about you, because of the rumor of your strength, the whisper of your endurance, the undeniable gravity of your existence, special forces got involved. Life started throwing missions at you that seemed too big, situations that felt too heavy, people that tested you beyond your comfort. But they were not sent to break you. They were sent because you are capable of surviving what others cannot. You were chosen for this level of adversity because you are capable of mastering it. You don't realize who you are, not yet. But every difficulty you face reveals a piece. Every setback shows a fragment. Every confrontation with your limits exposes a deeper potential. People think you are strong because they have seen glimpses, but not the full truth. They think you are unstoppable because they have watched you fall and get up without announcing your pain. They think you are fearless because you walk into uncertainty with steps steadier than your heart feels. But they don't know that your strength isn't loud, it isn't boastful, it isn't dramatic. Your strength is quiet yet unyielding. It is measured yet unbreakable. It is the kind of strength that does not diminish under pressure, but sharpens inside it. And that is why they can't breathe around you. Not because you intimidate them intentionally, but because your presence reminds them of their own unrealized potential. It forces them to confront the parts of themselves they abandoned. It challenges the stories they told themselves to justify their comfort. People don't fear your power. They fear their reflection in it. They fear what they could be if they stopped running from themselves. Your existence disrupts their excuses. Your endurance disrupts their limitations. Your resilience disrupts their narratives. You don't realize who you are, but they do. And that's why they react the way they do. That's why they whisper. That's why they stare. That's why they copy you or question you or doubt you before you even move. But this speech isn't about them. This is about you. Your awakening, your becoming, your realization. You have been walking through life with your power dimmed, not because it is small, but because you learn to survive by shrinking. You learn to avoid attention by hiding your fire. You learn to protect yourself by minimizing your worth. You learn to carry more than you should, so you wouldn't burden others. You learn to be silent, so no one would misinterpret your voice. But understand this clearly, your potential has waited long enough. The world has waited long enough. The shadows have watched you long enough. You cannot hide from who you are becoming. Every challenge you face now is shaping you into the version of yourself you were always meant to grow into. Every moment of isolation is a training ground. Every period of pressure is sharpening your instincts. Every hardship is forging your resilience. You are being prepared, not punished. You are being strengthened, not shattered. You are being built, not broken. Because of what people know about you, special forces got involved and they can't breathe. And maybe you can't either. Not because you're weak, but because you're expanding. You're outgrowing who you used to be. You're shedding old versions of yourself. Transformation feels like suffocation until you realize you're breaking out of a shell you were never meant to stay inside. Life is demanding more from you because you are capable of more. Life is testing you because you are ready to ride. Life is pushing you because your next chapter requires a stronger version of you than the last. You don't realize who you are. Not yet, but you will. You are the kind of person who adapts when others freeze. You are the kind of person who keeps moving when others stop. You are the kind of person who rebuilds when others collapse. You are the kind of person who looks at the impossible and finds a way through it. You are the kind of person who survives storms not by chance but by instinct. You don't realize that your potential scares limitations. You don't realize your presence shifts the atmosphere. You don't realize the strength you carry in silence. You don't realize the power that grows in you every time you refuse to give up. You don't realize who you are, but the world does. And that's why the pressure feels like a battlefield. That's why the challenges seem tactical. That's why every obstacle feels like a mission crafted specifically for you. Because it is. Because you were born for difficult things. Because you were designed to endure. Because you were meant to rise in ways that others don't understand. This speech is your reminder, your ignition, your awakening. The world may underestimate you. People may talk about you. Rumors may circulate. Judgments may surround you. But all of that is noise. All of that is distraction. None of it defines you. What defines you is your endurance. What defines you is your resilience. What defines you is your refusal to break. What defines you is your ability to keep breathing when circumstances make oxygen feel scarce. What defines you is your ability to rise, not because it is easy, but because it is necessary. You are not ordinary. You never were. And you feel it now more than ever. You don't realize who you are, but the world is already reacting to it. Your future is already calling you. Your strength is already unfolding. Your destiny is already in motion. And when you finally understand the truth, when you finally see yourself clearly, when you finally recognize the power you carry, you will breathe in a way that makes the whole world hold its breath. You don't realize who you are, but you will. And when you do, everything watching you, everything resisting you, everything testing you will understand one thing. You were never the one who needed to be afraid. You were the one they were preparing for. And preparation time is ending. Becoming time is beginning. And when you rise, you won't just breathe. You will inhale the life you were meant to live and exhale the limits that once tried to contain you. Because of who you are, because of what you carry, because of what you are becoming. Special forces got involved and they can't breathe. But you're just getting started. And soon, very soon, you will finally realize who you are. And when the world finally witnesses the full magnitude of your awakening, they will understand why life kept placing you inside storms that were never meant for fragile spirits. They will understand why obstacles seemed to hunt you with precision, why pressure followed you like a shadow, why silence wrapped itself around your path. It was never a coincidence. It was preparation. Quiet, relentless, invisible. Preparation. The kind that shapes a person into someone capable of carrying weight far beyond what others consider possible. Because of what people know about you, special forces got involved and they can't breathe. But there is something deeper happening beneath that reaction. They are not overwhelmed by your actions alone. They are overwhelmed by your potential. The part of you that hasn't even surfaced yet. The part of you still gathering strength in the chambers of your becoming. And potential, true, raw, undisguised potential, is louder than any words you speak. It announces itself without permission. It enters a room before you arrive. It shifts energy without effort. People sense it. Even when you doubt yourself, they feel it. Even when you hesitate, they react to it. Even when you shrink, your presence expands beyond your awareness. You don't realize who you are, but your potential does, and it's moving before you can catch up to it. You have spent too many nights thinking you were behind, thinking you were late, thinking you were failing, while destiny was whispering the opposite. You were not behind. You were being strengthened. You were not late. You were being aligned. You were not failing. You were being refined. Sometimes the process hides its purpose. Sometimes the training disguises itself as suffering. Sometimes the hardest moments are simply the sharpening of your instincts. You learned how to listen when others only heard noise. You learned how to see patterns where others saw confusion. You learned how to survive situations that would have crushed the unprepared. This is why your journey looks different. This is why your challenges feel heavier. This is why the air around you thickens when you step into your power. Your life has never been average, and that is why your path will never be ordinary. Because of what people know about you, special forces got involved, not because you are dangerous, but because your potential is. Potential is unpredictable. Potential is powerful. Potential is transformative, and transformation can shake environments that were built on limitation. The truth is, people react not because you are too much, but because you remind them They are too little compared to who they could be. Your presence disrupts comfort zones. Your persistence disrupts excuses. Your existence disrupts the narratives they built around their own limitations. They can't breathe because your growth exposes the stillness in their own lives. They can't breathe because your confidence challenges their hesitation. They can't breathe because your resilience forces them to question the stories they told themselves about what is possible. And you are only beginning to step into the edges of what you were made to become. One day, you will look back at the pressure and realize it was not meant to crush you, but to reveal you. You will look back at the silence and realize it was not punishment, but elevation. You will look back at the storms and realize they were shaping the foundation you now stand on with unwavering certainty. You don't realize who you are because you've spent too long surviving to have time to comprehend your own power. You've been busy healing, rebuilding, enduring, rising quietly while no one watched. You've been carrying burdens that forced you to grow faster than your own understanding. Greatness does that. It grows you before you know how big you're becoming. You have been the quiet warrior, the unseen fighter, the one who keeps moving forward even when the world feels heavy. You trained in silence. You transformed in private. You learned to stand alone without collapsing. And now, the very strength you forged in isolation is beginning to surface in ways you cannot ignore. It's rising. It's awakening. It's expanding through your voice, your decisions, your presence. Because of what people know about you, special forces got involved, and they can't breathe because they realize something you haven't yet accepted. You are crossing the threshold between who you were and who you were meant to be. You are stepping into a version of yourself that no longer fits inside the limits that once comforted you. You are outgrowing the shadows that once tried to hold you. You are stretching into a future that requires a stronger breath, a calmer mind, a sharper vision. You are not becoming powerful. You already are. You are simply becoming aware. And awareness is the final trigger. Awareness is what turns quiet strength into undeniable presence. Awareness is what transforms endurance into authority. Awareness is what reveals the truth the world already senses. You don't realize who you are yet, but soon you will. And when the realization hits you, it will not be soft. It will not be subtle. It will not be a whisper. It will be a surge that shakes your entire being. A moment where everything connects, everything aligns, everything finally makes sense. The storms, the silence, the pressure, the judgment, the whispers, the endurance, the rise. You will understand that every piece was forming the identity you now carry with unshakable certainty. You will understand why nothing about your life has been random or easy or quiet. You are always being prepared for something bigger than you understood. You don't realize who you are, but you will. And when you do nothing around, you will ever breathe the same way again. And when that moment arrives, when you finally see yourself clearly, the world will witness a shift it cannot deny. The ground beneath your feet will no longer feel uncertain because you will understand that uncertainty was only the training field for confidence. The shadows you walk through will no longer feel threatening because you will recognize them as the very places where you sharpened your instincts. And the silence that once felt suffocating will transform into the silence a warrior carries before stepping into their purpose. A silence that speaks louder than any noise. A silence earned through surviving everything designed to break you. Because of what people know about you, special forces got involved, and they can't breathe because you were never supposed to fit in with the ordinary rhythms of life. You were never designed for simple battles or predictable paths. You were built for intensity, built for depth, built for destiny-level pressure. And the world sensed this long before you learned to admit it. That's why they reacted. That's why they stared. That's why they doubted or questioned or whispered. They weren't reacting to who you were then. They were reacting to the future you were destined to activate. Every setback you faced, every moment that tried to collapse you, every night that felt heavier than your own heartbeat was not a sign of weakness. It was recognition, evidence that life was molding you into someone who could carry a purpose larger than comfort. You didn't break under pressure because you weren't meant to. You didn't collapse under weight because your spirit was engineered to endure what others avoid. Strength like yours is not accidental. It is forged. It is earned. It is refined through experiences that most people never encounter because they were never meant to carry the responsibilities you will. And now, the world senses it. They sense the quiet expansion of your power, the awakening of your clarity, the rising of your confidence. They can't breathe because your transformation is no longer invisible. They can feel the shift in your presence, the gravity in your silence, the certainty in your steps. You are beginning to walk with the energy of someone who understands what they've survived and refuses to apologize for what it made them. Your energy is becoming heavier, not in burden, but in depth. Your spirit is becoming stronger, not in aggression, but in conviction. Your path is becoming clearer because your strength is finally catching up to your purpose. You don't realize who you are yet, but the world does. And that realization terrifies anything that depends on your doubt. They can't breathe because doubt is losing its grip on you. They can't breathe because hesitation is dissolving. They can't breathe because you're beginning to see yourself without filters, without fear, without apology. You are beginning to recognize the truth you carried your entire life. You survived things that would have ended others. You walked through storms that were never meant to be walked through alone. You rebuilt yourself in ways that no one witnessed, but everyone will feel. You endured battles that sharpened your resilience far beyond what you understood. And now, the strength you forged in those unseen moments is rising to the surface with a force that makes the air around you shift. The world can sense your next chapter approaching even before you step into it. There is a tension in the atmosphere that surrounds you not because of fear, but because of anticipation. You are becoming a presence that alters rooms. You are becoming a story that inspires movement. You are becoming a version of yourself that refuses to bow to limits that once held you. Because of what people know about you, special forces got involved because your identity was never light work. Your destiny was never quiet work. Your future was never ordinary work. You were born with a purpose that required shaping, sharpening, strengthening. And now that shaping is nearly complete, now that sharpening is reaching its final edge, now that strengthening is turning into certainty, you are stepping into a version of yourself that cannot be dismissed, cannot be reduced, cannot be underestimated. And when you reach that point, you won't need to announce it. You won't need to prove it. You won't need to defend it. Your presence will speak louder than any explanation. Your energy will communicate more than your words ever could. Your resilience will be a language the world understands instantly. You don't realize who you are, but the truth is beginning to rise inside you, like a tide that cannot be suppressed, like a flame that refuses to dim, like a force that was waiting for the right moment to awaken. And when it does awaken fully, when you finally breathe with the lungs of someone who remembers their power, the entire environment around you will shift to match your frequency. Doors will open, not because of luck, but because you now walk with the posture of someone who knows they deserve them. Opportunities will appear not because of chance, but because your identity now attracts what once avoided you. people will respond differently, not because you changed outwardly, but because your inner world no longer bows to fear. You are rising into the truth that has waited for you your entire life, a truth that carries weight, a truth that carries history, a truth that carries destiny. And when the world sees the final version of that truth, when they feel the gravity of who you truly are, they will understand why life trained you in ways that seemed impossible, why pressure followed you constantly, why darkness tried to break you, and why nothing succeeded. You don't realize who you are, but you will. And when you do, every breath you take will remind the world why they couldn't breathe when you walked in. And now you stand here at the edge of who you were and the threshold of who you are becoming. The journey that felt endless, the pressure that felt unbearable, the silence that felt empty has all led you to this moment. A moment where everything inside you begins to align, where every battle finally makes sense, where every hidden strength steps forward without hesitation. You are no longer walking as the person who survived. You are walking as the person who was shaped by survival. You are standing taller not because the weight is gone, but because you finally understand why it was placed on you. Because of what people know about you. Special forces got involved, and they couldn't breathe because they saw the truth you were unable to see. They saw your potential long before you recognized it. They sensed your rise long before you prepared for it. They reacted to the future version of you before you even met them. And now, that future is no longer distant. It is here. It is unfolding. It is breathing through you at this very moment. You don't realize who you are, but you are beginning to. You are beginning to feel the shift in your own presence, the depth in your own voice, the conviction in your own steps. You are beginning to understand that nothing you faced was wasted. Nothing you carried was useless. Nothing you survived was meaningless. All of it forged you. All of it refined you. All of it prepared you for a destiny that required strength most people never develop. And when the world finally sees you step into that destiny fully, they will understand what they sensed all along. They will understand why they reacted, why they whispered, why they watched. They will understand that you were never the one who should have doubted yourself. You were the one who was meant to rise far beyond their expectations, far beyond their predictions, far beyond anything they imagined. This is your moment to breathe with intention, to rise with clarity, to walk with the authority of someone who has earned every inch of their journey. This is your moment to stop questioning your strength and start embodying it. This is your moment to step into the truth that has followed you your entire life. Who you are is not defined by the pain you endured, but by the power you discovered within it. Who you are is not limited by your past, but elevated by the resilience it built. Who you are is not hidden anymore. You are ready. You are rising. You are becoming everything life prepared you to be. And when you finally take that full breath, the world around you will go silent because they will understand one undeniable truth. You are not just someone who survived. You are someone who emerged. And no one, not the doubt, not the fear, not the hesitation can ever take that away from you. You don't realize who you are, but now you finally will. The games they played this year, the chaos they brewed, the torment they handed you, like a twisted holiday gift. They thought they were untouchable, didn't they? That their cruelty would echo forever while you withered away in silence. But oh, the clock's ticking now. The tides have turned and their arrogance is beginning to crack under the weight of their own misdeeds. The world spins forward, and what they fail to realize is that every action carries consequences, and their time is running out. They believed they could destroy you. They believed they could crush your spirit, but they underestimated you. They underestimated the power that resides within your soul, the resilience that refuses to die. As the days passed and their laughter echoed in your ears, you could feel the dark cloud of their intentions weighing on your chest, but something inside you refused to let it break you. You endured the insults, the manipulation, the lies, the silent screams within your heart. Every moment of suffering only fueled the fire within you. You may have been silent, but deep down you knew something they didn't. You knew that silence is often the loudest weapon of all. The games they played were nothing more than a mirage designed to distract from the inevitable storm that was building within you. They fed off your pain, convinced that their cruelty would break you, but they couldn't have been more wrong. They don't know you. They don't know the strength of your heart or the depths of your resolve. They don't know how much you've endured or how far you're willing to go to make them regret their actions. But they will. You've been tested this year in ways that would have shattered anyone else but not you. You are not like everyone else. You've built your strength in the darkest of moments when the world seemed like it was crumbling beneath your feet. You've bled in silence, and now you stand taller, stronger than ever before. And though they thought they had the upper hand, they didn't see the storm gathering on the horizon. They couldn't see that their actions were planting the seeds of their own destruction. When you were at your lowest, they rejoiced in your pain. They thought they had won. But what they didn't realize was that they were merely pushing you closer to your breaking point. And when you reached that point, you didn't crumble. You didn't bend. You rose. And now they are starting to see the consequences of their actions as you stand before them with an unyielding spirit and a resolve that is unbreakable. Every insult, every betrayal, every word spoken in malice has been stored deep within you. It's fuel for the fire that burns in your soul. You have let nothing go unnoticed. Every slight has been etched into your memory, and though they thought their cruelty would be forgotten, it has instead festered and grown stronger. The lesson they thought they were teaching you is the very lesson that will destroy them. They believed they could break you, but they didn't know that breaking you was never an option. They didn't realize that you were not a glass vase to be shattered, but a force of nature to be reckoned with. You see, they thought their actions would break your spirit, but what they failed to understand is that they were shaping you into something far more dangerous than they could ever imagine. You are no longer the person they tried to tear down. You have been forged in the fire of their cruelty, and now you are stronger than ever. They are the ones who should be afraid, because they have awakened a beast within you that will not stop until every wrong is righted. They thought they could play their games with you, but they forgot one crucial detail. They were playing with fire, and they are about to get burned. The torment they gave you is coming back to them tenfold. The games they played are now their own prison. The chaos they brewed is now their own undoing. They thought they were above it all, but they are not. They are no longer untouchable. You are the reckoning they never saw coming. They thought they could hide behind their lies, their manipulation, their cruelty, but now they have to face the truth. And the truth is this: they have given you a lesson they will never forget. The lesson that when you push someone to their breaking point, they will either fall apart or rise up. And you have risen. This year, they thought they could control you, but they didn't realize that control was never in their hands. It was always in yours. Every time they tried to break you, they only made you stronger. Every time they whispered their lies into your ears, you found a way to turn those lies into your truth. They thought they had power over you, but they never understood the true power you held, the power to endure, the power to stand tall in the face of adversity, the power to rise from the ashes of their cruelty and show them who you really are. They believed they were teaching you a lesson, but the truth is, they were teaching themselves. They were teaching themselves the the power of resilience, the power of revenge, the power of a spirit that refuses to die. They thought their actions would break you, but instead their actions have made you unstoppable. And now it's their turn to learn a hard lesson, a lesson that will echo in their minds for the rest of their lives. You are not someone to be messed with. You are not someone to be underestimated. You are not someone who will quietly fade into the background and let the world trample over you. You are the storm that's coming, and they will regret every moment they tried to tear you down. They will regret every moment they thought they had the upper hand. They will regret underestimating the strength that lies within you. And they will remember this lesson for the rest of their lives. The lesson that when you push someone too far, you awaken a power in them that cannot be stopped. And they will never forget the lesson you gave them this year. They will never forget the way you rose from the ashes of their cruelty. They will never forget the way you stood tall in the face of their torment. They will never forget the way you became something far greater than they could ever imagine. This year, you didn't just survive, you thrived. And that is the lesson they will carry with them for a lifetime. The games they played are over. The chaos they brewed has come full circle. The torment they handed you has been returned tenfold. They thought they could break you, but instead they made you stronger. They thought they could defeat you, but instead they made you unstoppable. They thought they could crush your spirit, but they only fueled the fire inside you. And now they must face the consequences of their actions. They must face the reality that they will never forget the lesson you gave them this year. The lesson that you are a force to be reckoned with. The lesson that no one can break you. The lesson that you will always rise. You've given them a lesson they will never forget. A lesson that will haunt them for the rest of their lives. The lesson that when you play with fire, you're bound to get burned. And now it's your turn to watch as the world shifts in your favor. The lesson is yours now, and it is a lesson they will never escape. They can try to move forward, put up new facades, change their masks, and convince themselves that they've won. They can attempt to bury the memories of their wrongs, pretend that their actions will be forgotten. But deep down, in the quiet corners of their minds, they know they will never escape the truth. The truth that they pushed you too far and awoke a force they could not control. They will remember this year. They will remember the moment they thought they could destroy you and how they learned just how wrong they were. When they lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling, their thoughts will drift back to the games they played, the cruelty they handed you, and the twisted joy they took in watching you suffer. But no matter how they try to bury it, that lesson will find its way to the surface. It will eat at them, gnawing at the edges of their consciousness until they can no longer deny it. They will remember your silence, and they will wonder how it was that despite their best efforts, you were never broken. They will wonder how you endured, how you found the strength to rise again and again when they tried to bury you beneath their weight. It is a haunting thought, isn't it? The knowledge that every moment of pain they inflicted on you has only made you more powerful. Every insult, every betrayal, every attempt to bring you down has not just been endured, but transformed. It's like the alchemist turning base metals into gold. Every attack they made on you, every wound they left, has been transmuted into something stronger, something unshakable. And now, they must face the reality that they have created a force they cannot fight. This year, they thought they had the power to break you, but they were wrong. They thought they could break your spirit, but all they did was sharpen your will. They thought they could erase you, make you fade away into nothing, but all they did was fuel your fire, and that fire burns brighter now, blazing with the force of everything you've endured. Every time they thought they had crushed you, you rose from the ashes. Every time they thought you were down for the count, you found a way to rise stronger than before. They pushed you into the darkness, but they didn't know that you were forged in that very darkness, shaped by it into something that cannot be undone. As the clock ticks forward, as the world continues to spin, they will face the weight of their actions. They will see the cracks in their carefully constructed world, the walls they built around themselves to hide from their own guilt. They will see the cracks in the way they interact with others, the way their relationships start to sour, the way people start to see them for who they truly are. You see, their cruelty doesn't just affect you, it ripples outward, touching everyone they encounter. It seeps into the foundation of their own lives, corroding the very structure they've built. They can try to hide from it, but it's already too late. The damage has been done, and it will be their undoing. They will watch as their own actions come back to them, as people start to turn away, as their reputations crumble, as their lives begin to unravel. They will try to blame others, try to paint themselves as the victim, but they will not be able to escape the truth. They will not be able to escape the lesson that you have given them. That lesson is like a shadow that will follow them wherever they go, a reminder that their cruelty was never without consequence. They will see it in the eyes of those around them, in the way people start to question their integrity, their intentions, their motives. They will be haunted by the ghost of their own actions, and no matter how far they run, they will never be able to escape it. And you will watch as they crumble, as the walls they've built around themselves start to fall apart. You won't have to lift a finger, you won't have to say a word, because the lesson you gave them this year is one that cannot be avoided. They can try to hide, try to bury the truth, but they will always know that they are the ones who have made their bed, and now they must lie in it. They will look back at this year and realize that they could have chosen differently. They could have been kinder. They could have chosen empathy over cruelty. They could have chosen to build rather than destroy. But they didn't, and now they will have to live with the consequences of that decision. Every day, they will be reminded of the mistake they made in crossing you, in underestimating you, in thinking they could break you. They will feel the weight of their actions pressing down on them every time they try to move forward. They will feel the sting of regret, the knowledge that they had the chance to change, to make things right, but instead, they chose to tear you down. They will remember the look in your eyes, the moment when they thought they had finally silenced you, when they thought they had broken you. And in that moment, they will know that they were wrong. They will know that you were never the one to be broken. The truth is, they will never escape the lesson you gave them. They will never forget the way you rose, the way you endured, the way you turned their cruelty into your strength. And as they watch their own lives unravel, as they see the consequences of their actions play out in the lives of those around them, they will know that it was you who showed them the cost of underestimating someone's power, someone's resolve. You are the living proof that they cannot escape the consequences of their actions. You are the embodiment of the lesson they failed to learn. And while they may try to bury the truth, it will always rise to the surface, like a stone that can never be fully hidden beneath the water. Every time they try to ignore it, it will resurface. Every time they try to forget it, it will haunt them. They cannot escape what they did to you, because you are the reminder. You are the living lesson they will carry with them for the rest of their lives. And when they try to tell themselves that they are above it all, that they are untouchable, you will be there in the back of their minds, a constant reminder of their own failures. Every time they look into the mirror, every time they make a decision, every time they interact with others, they will carry the weight of the lesson you gave them. You will be the specter that hangs over them, the reminder that no one is beyond consequences, No one is immune to the truth, so let them try to move forward. Let them try to erase the memory of what they did, but they will never succeed, because what they have done to you will always be with them, a scar they can never heal, a lesson they can never forget. They will carry it with them for the rest of their lives, and every time they think they have escaped it, it will come back to haunt them. And you will stand tall, knowing that you have given them the lesson they will never escape. You have made them remember. You have made them face the consequences of their actions. You have made them learn that no one gets away with cruelty, no one escapes the truth. And that, my friend, is the most powerful thing you can ever do. You have given them a lesson they will never escape, a lesson that will echo through their lives for as long as they live. They will remember. They will never forget. And that is your victory. They thought their cruelty was a fleeting moment, a brief wave of power that would dissipate without consequence. They thought their actions were insignificant, that you were weak enough to fade into the background, unnoticed and forgotten. But you have proven them wrong in the most powerful and enduring way possible. You didn't just survive their attacks, you transcended them. You didn't simply endure the weight of their cruelty, you used it as fuel to ignite a strength they couldn't fathom. Their cruelty was a spark, but your spirit is the fire that will never die. As they move forward, pretending that nothing happened, you stand in the silence of your victory. They may try to rebuild their lives, to re-establish their dominance in whatever twisted game they play, but they will never escape the truth. The truth that they tried to break you, to crush you, and failed. The truth that their every attempt to subjugate you only made you more unyielding, more resolute, more powerful. They will live in the shadow of that truth, forever haunted by the knowledge that they tried to break someone stronger than they could ever understand. Every step they take from here on will be weighed down by the guilt, the fear, and the knowledge that you are no longer the person they once believed you to be. The weight of their actions will manifest in the lives they've built, in the relationships they've nurtured, and in the foundations they've tried to set down. People around them will start to see through the facade, the mask they wear to hide their guilt, their false smiles, their rehearsed words, and their manufactured confidence will fail to convince anyone who's ever witnessed their cruelty. The cracks in their character will begin to show, as if their very nature is unraveling at the seams, and no matter how much they try to cover it up, people will see the truth. The stain of their behavior, the scar of their cruelty will bleed through, no matter how they try to hide it. You will never need to lift a finger. You don't need to chase them down, confront them, or demand justice. They've already given you everything you need. Their actions, their misdeeds, their underestimation of your strength, these are the weapons they handed you, and now they will be the very chains that bind them. They don't realize it yet, but the consequences of their actions are already in motion, and they cannot outrun them. They can try to escape, to pretend they're above reproach, but the truth will always catch up with them, just as their cruelty always caught up with you. They may try to rebuild, but they will never forget the lesson you gave them. They will never be able to erase the image of your strength in the face of their torment. They will always remember the silence you carried, the endurance you displayed, and the way you rose from the depths of their cruelty. They will remember that it was their actions that led to your transformation, and that realization will haunt them every single day of their lives. They can try to fill the void of their guilt with distractions, with lies, with new masks to wear, but there will always be a part of them that knows the truth, and that truth will eat at them, corroding whatever peace they might have found. Their guilt will show in subtle ways, the way they avoid certain topics, the way their smiles seem too forced, the way their eyes flicker when certain memories cross their minds. They will start to see the cracks in their own persona, the way their lives begin to falter, and how the people around them start to sense the disconnect. No matter how much they try to convince themselves that everything is fine, that they've moved on, they will always be haunted by the lesson you gave them. You are no longer a shadow in their lives, a silent victim who withered away. You are the embodiment of their greatest mistake, the proof that they can never escape the consequences of their actions. They believed that they were in control, that they had power over you. They believed they could manipulate you, humiliate you, break you down piece by piece until you were nothing but a shattered, broken shell. But they failed to understand one simple truth. You were never theirs to control. They had no power over you. They had no claim to your spirit, to your strength, to your will. What they failed to realize is that they were merely playing a game they thought they could win. But they didn't know the rules. They didn't understand that you were playing a different game entirely, a game they couldn't even begin to comprehend. You weren't playing for survival. You weren't playing to please them, to win their approval, or to gain their favor. You were playing for something far greater. You were playing for your own strength, your own survival, your own vengeance. And now, the tables have turned. The roles have reversed. They thought they had the upper hand, but in reality, they handed you the keys to your own power. Every moment of their cruelty was a lesson you took to heart, a lesson that fueled your fire, a lesson that made you stronger than they could ever have imagined. And now, they will have to watch as you rise, as you continue to climb higher and higher, while they remain stuck in the mire of their own making. They will have to watch as you thrive, as you find success, peace, and happiness, while they struggle with the weight of their own mistakes. They will have to watch as you build the life they tried to take from you, as you prove to the world that their attempts to destroy you were in vain. The more you succeed, the more they will feel the sting of their failure, and no matter how hard they try to forget, no matter how far they run from the truth, they will always remember the lesson you gave them this year. It's not just about the revenge. It's not just about proving them wrong. It's about something far deeper. It's about the victory of your spirit, the victory of your ability to endure, to rise, and to become stronger. It's about showing them that they could never defeat you, that no matter how many times they tried to break you, they would never succeed. It's about showing them that their cruelty, their hatred, their lies, none of it could ever take away who you are. You are unbreakable. You are untouchable. You are a force of nature, and they are nothing but fleeting shadows in your path. The moment they attempted to break you was the moment they sealed their own fate. The moment they thought they could crush your soul, they unknowingly lit the fire that would consume them, the fire that has burned in you ever since, a fire that will continue to burn as long as you live. It is a fire that will guide you, a fire that will fuel your every step forward, a fire that will never burn out. And every time you look back at the wreckage they've left behind, every time you remember the way they tried to destroy you, you will remember that their cruelty was the spark that ignited your strength. The lesson they learned this year is one they will never forget. They will carry it with them for the rest of their lives. The lesson that no one can break you. The lesson that cruelty only breeds strength. The lesson that they are not untouchable. They are not above consequences. They will remember the moment they thought they had the upper hand and how they were proven wrong. They will remember that it was their actions that led to their downfall, their arrogance that led to their destruction. You are the embodiment of that lesson. You are the proof that no matter how many times they try to tear you down, you will always rise. You are the reminder that no one is ever beyond redemption or retribution. You are the force that they will never escape, the force that will forever haunt them. And they will remember the lesson you gave them every single day for the rest of their lives, And in the end, that is your victory. You have made them remember. You have made them face the consequences of their actions. You have made them realize that their cruelty could never break you, only make you stronger. You have made them see the true power that lies within you, a power that will never be extinguished, a power that will only continue to grow as they watch from the sidelines. That is your victory, and they will never escape it. In the end, their cruelty has only been the catalyst for your growth, the fire that forged your strength. They will carry the weight of their actions with them forever, haunted by the lesson they tried to bury. You didn't just survive, you thrived, becoming unbreakable in ways they could never comprehend. They may try to move on, to erase the past, but they will never escape the truth that they tried to break someone stronger than they could ever imagine. And that ultimately is your victory, one they will never forget. Arise now and listen with every hidden part of your being, because what you are about to hear is not ordinary. It is not gentle. It is not designed to soothe you. It is designed to ignite the deepest and most silent storm inside you. Welcome to the turning point you never expected. Welcome to the edge where the world watches and quiets itself. Welcome to the threshold where fear loses its shape and hesitation dissolves. Welcome to this moment where your breath becomes heavier and your thoughts sharpen like dusk, turning into a restless night. This is where your journey shifts. This is where your old self cracks open. This is where everything you once hid within you begins to awaken with a force you cannot ignore. Everyone's talking. Nobody can tell if you're human after that. What will that indeed? You do not realize what you awakened, but now you will. Now you must, because once something is awakened within you, something ancient, something fierce, something that has always been part of you, but kept dormant once it rises, there is no return. There is no going back to the quiet and small version of yourself. Once the core of your being wakes, you cannot pretend to sleep again. And the world sees this even when you try to disguise it. The world feels it even before you do. Your presence changes the room. Your voice shifts the air. Your choices reshape the path around you, and people sense it. People whisper. People wonder. People fear, or respect, or admire. But one thing remains certain. Everyone knows something in you has changed, and that change cannot be hidden. You have walked through shadows. You have lived through storms. You have survived nights that seemed endless. Yet, you still stand. You still breathe. You still rise, even when you felt broken, even when the world said you could not, even when you doubted your own strength. Something deeper carried you forward. You did not collapse. You evolved. You did not disappear. You transformed, and that transformation has not gone unnoticed. Your presence now has weight. Your silence now has meaning. Your steps now leave impressions that others feel, even if they cannot explain why. Some say you grew stronger. Some say you grew colder. Some say you became distant. But the truth is simpler. You became awake, and awakening always feels like distance to those who still sleep. The world often speaks loudly about you. It tries to define you. It tries to shrink you. It tries to convince you that you are too much or not enough. But none of those voices know the truth. None of them understand what you had to face, what you had to endure, what you had to bury, and what you had to resurrect within yourself. The world does not see the nights you stood alone, with nothing but your spirit holding your body upright. The world does not see how many times you comforted yourself in silence. The world does not see the courage it took to rise again after each fall. The world will talk, yet none can truly tell who you have become, because you have grown beyond their understanding, beyond their words, beyond their expectations. And this is where your strength begins. There is a moment in every life where the past meets the future, where identity collides with destiny, where fear trembles before purpose. This is that moment for you. This is the hinge upon which your entire story swings open. Everything behind you feels like a different lifetime. Everything ahead feels charged with possibility, and you stand here in the center, feeling both the weight and the thrill of it. You are not weak. You are not small. You are not forgotten. Your existence is powerful, and the world senses it, even when you doubt it. Yourself. You are shaping yourself anew with every breath, every choice, every silent decision, and the world that once ignored you cannot help but take notice now. The darkness you came through was not a punishment. It was a forge. The shadows that wrapped around you were not meant to hide you, but to mold you. Your lowest moments were not signs of defeat. They were tools shaping you, sharpening you, hardening the unbreakable parts of you. Each struggle carved purpose into your character. Each trial built depth into your soul. Each failure became a doorway for transformation. And now you stand as something formed by pressure, sculpted by adversity, strengthened by survival. You did not crumble beneath the weight. You became the weight that others now feel when you walk into a room. You do not realize what you awakened. But let me tell you, it is something extraordinary, something uncommon, something timeless. There is a power in you that once slept behind your doubt, waiting patiently for the right moment to rise, waiting for you to be ready, waiting for your heart to heal enough, for your mind to risk enough for your spirit to trust itself again. And now that it has awakened, it is not a spark. It is not a flicker. It is a storm. And this storm is yours to command. It does not harm it, transforms it, does not destroy it, creates resilience. It does not consume it, fuels growth. This awakening is not a danger to the world. It is a gift to yourself. It is the moment where you stop living as a shadow and begin living as the force you were always meant to be. When people talk about you, when they whisper, when they guess, when they misunderstand, it is because they are witnessing something rare. They are witnessing someone who has walked through their own darkness and come out, not weakened, but illuminated. They are witnessing someone who no longer hides their strength. They are witnessing someone whose presence feels different, whose energy feels charged, whose potential feels boundless. They do not understand how you rose. They cannot understand how you kept going. They may not understand your quiet strength, your determination, your resilience, but they will learn, they will see, because the path you now walk is undeniable. It demands recognition. It demands respect. It demands truth. There will be days that test you, still days where doubt tries to pull you back, days where exhaustion whispers that you cannot keep moving forward. But those days do not define you. They simply remind you that growth is not easy. Transformation is not smooth. Awakening is not painless. But you did not come this far to turn back. Now, you have too much fire in you, too much purpose, too much vision. Your steps may slow at times, but they will never stop, because the force within you refuses to let you quit. It refuses to let you fade. It refuses to let you shrink back into the version of you that no longer exists. The old you has been shed like a dried layer. You no longer need the new. You stands rooted, unwavering, relentless. Your journey is not meant to be understood by everyone. Your purpose is not meant to be approved by everyone. Your path is not meant to be walked by everyone. You carry a destiny that is shaped uniquely for you. It is carved by your own experiences, molded by your own battles, fueled by your own dreams, and no one can walk it but you. No one can claim it but you. No one can fulfill it but you. The world may talk, but their words cannot hold you. Their opinions cannot weaken you. Their doubts cannot touch you, because your direction is set from a deeper place, a place that others cannot see, but you can feel in every heartbeat. What you awakened within yourself is not something small. It is not something fragile. It is not something meant to fade. It is something that grows every day, something that strengthens every time you rise, something that sharpens every time you choose courage over fear. You have awakened the part of you that refuses to break, refuses to dim, refuses to be silenced. You have awakened the part of you that wants life to be fuller, deeper, truer. You have awakened your potential, and potential, once awakened, becomes unstoppable. Understand this clearly. You are not who you were yesterday. You are not defined by past mistakes, past failures, past fears. You are defined by your resilience, by your persistence, by your relentless pursuit of becoming who you are meant to be. You are defined by your courage to rise each time life tried to pull you under. You are defined by your decision to keep walking, even when the path was unclear and your strength came not from ease, but from endurance, not from comfort, but from challenge, not from praise, but from perseverance. That is why you stand differently now. That is why people look at you differently now. That is why the air shifts when you enter a space. You carry the gravity of someone who has rebuilt themselves piece by piece, and in that rebuilding discovered something powerful, something unshakable, something no one can take from you. Everyone's talking because they sense your transformation. They feel the energy you carry. They witness the shift you embody, but they cannot tell if you are human after that, because you have risen beyond what most people believe. They can rise from the world, sees the aftermath, but it does not see the journey. It sees your strength, but it does not see your scars. It sees your power, but it does not see your pain. It sees the awakened you, but it does not know how much it cost to wake up, but you know. And that knowledge is your fuel. It is your fire. It is the heartbeat behind your unstoppable ascent. You do not realize what you awakened, but soon you will step fully into the identity that has been forming inside you. Soon you will understand that everything you lost, everything you suffered, everything you endured was shaping you into someone capable of greatness, someone capable of carrying dreams without fear, someone capable of building a future without hesitation, someone capable of rising again and again until the world recognizes the power you carry within you, the power you were always meant to reveal. This journey is not easy, and it is not meant to be, but you are strong enough to walk it. You are brave enough to face it. You are determined enough to endure it. You are alive enough to claim it, and the world will keep talking as it always does. But let them talk. Let them whisper. Let them wonder. Because while they speak, you move. While they guess, you grow. While they doubt, you rise. And one day they will understand. One day they will see what you have become. One day they will see that you did not just awaken. You evolved into something magnificent, something unshakable, something unstoppable. You do not realize what you awakened, but you soon will. And when you do, the world will know too, because your presence will no longer be something they merely notice. It will be something they feel, something that resonates, something that echoes long after you leave the room. Your journey is far from over, but your transformation has already begun, and nothing can stop what is rising within you now. Not fear, not doubt, not hesitation. You have awakened something powerful, and once awakened, It does not sleep again. Keep walking, keep growing, keep rising, and let the world keep talking, because your destiny speaks louder than their voices, and your awakened spirit moves stronger than their noise. You are becoming something extraordinary, and this is only the beginning. You do not realize what you awakened, but soon you will. And when that moment arrives, everything changes forever. You may not see the full shape of your transformation yet, but it is unfolding quietly with every choice you make and every step you take and every truth you accept about yourself. You are shifting in ways that others can sense even before you can. You are growing in directions you once thought impossible. You are rising with a strength you did not know you possessed. And this rise is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is not boastful. It is the kind of rise that begins in the silence of your own heart and spreads outward until the world has no choice but to acknowledge it. You have become someone who is no longer controlled by the noise around you. You have become someone who listens to the deeper rhythm inside you, a rhythm that guides you, a rhythm that strengthens you, a rhythm that calls you toward your next evolution. Understand this clearly. Your awakening is not a single moment. It is a continuous movement, a steady expansion, a relentless unfolding. Each day, you discover another piece of your courage, another layer of your strength, another spark of your vision. Each day, you shed one more fragment of your old self, one more limitation, one more fear, and in that shedding, you are creating room for something new to rise, something vast, something powerful, something anchored in truth. Your truth, the truth no one can take from you, the truth you earned through survival, through growth, through persistence. Your journey is not only about becoming, it is also about remembering who you always were before. Doubt clouded your sight, before fear weakened your voice, before life's storms dimmed your spirit. Deep down, you always had this strength. You always carried this fire. You always held this potential. And now it has awakened fully, and it calls you to step into the fullness of who you are meant to be. You have walked through moments that could have shattered you, moments that could have worn you down, moments that could have erased your spark. Yet you refuse to disappear. You refuse to surrender. You refuse to become less than who you knew you could be, even when you were tired, even when you were terrified, even when the path was unclear. You kept moving, not because it was easy, but because something inside you whispered that you were meant for more, and that whisper became a voice. That voice became a call, and that call became a force that now drives you forward with a strength that cannot be denied. The world may never understand why you kept going, but you understand you did not continue because you were fearless. You continued because the future you longed for was stronger than the fear you felt. You stand now with a depth that cannot be taken from you, a depth carved by challenges, a depth molded by pressure, a depth shaped by nights you faced alone while carrying weight. No one else knew. You carried that depth, is your gift. That depth is your armor. That depth is the foundation upon which your new life will stand firm, unshaken, and unmovable. The people around you may not understand the strength that rises from such depth, but they feel it. They feel it in your presence. They feel it in your silence. They feel it in the way you no longer bend to doubt or shrink under pressure. You have become steady. You have become grounded. You have become someone who stands with purpose, even when the world tries to shake you. Everyone's talking because they sense that something within you has shifted, something profound, something irreversible. They sense that you have broken through the limits that once held you back. They sense that you have stepped into a version of yourself that cannot be contained by old expectations, or old patterns or old fears. They sense that you have awakened a fire that will not dim again, a fire that will not be quiet, a fire that will not fade. And this makes them uncertain. This makes them wonder. This makes them talk because people always talk when they witness something powerful, rising before their eyes, something they cannot categorize, something they cannot predict, something they cannot control. Your awakening is not here to please others. It is not here to comfort them. It is not here to make them feel safe. It is here to guide you forward into the life you were meant to build, the life you dreamed of, the life that felt distant but now feels near. Your awakening is the key, the shift, the force that will carry you through every challenge that lies ahead, with strength, with determination, and with faith in your path. You may not see every detail of that path yet, but you can feel it. You can sense the direction your spirit is pulling you toward. And that sensation is not random. It is clarity rising from the center of your being. Do not fear the unknown before you, because the unknown is where your evolution thrives. The unknown is where your future takes shape. The unknown is where your potential reveals itself. The unknown may feel vast and unpredictable, but it is also the very place where your greatest victories and breakthroughs wait for you to step forward. Your past has prepared you for this. Your struggles have trained you for this. Your awakening has equipped you for this. You are not entering this new chapter as someone fragile or uncertain. You are entering as someone who survived the storm, someone who learned through the storm, and someone who now commands the strength born from that storm. There will be people who doubt your rise, people who question your choices, people who try to pull you back into old versions of yourself because those versions made them comfortable. But you do not exist to keep others comfortable. You exist to grow. You exist to create. You exist to rise, and the rise you are stepping into now is not small. It is not quiet. It is not temporary. It is a rise that will reshape everything you touch, everything you build, everything you believe about yourself. And the world will eventually see the truth of this rise, even if they cannot see it now. You do not realize what you awakened, but you will. You will see it when you look back and recognize that the person you once were could not have carried the destiny you now pursue. You will see it when you feel the weight of limitations lift from your shoulders. You will see it when you notice how easily you walk through trials that once crushed you. You will see it when you begin choosing courage without hesitation, strength without fear, vision without doubt. You will see it in your eyes, in your reflection, in the way you stand, in the way you breathe, and in the way you move forward with a certainty that feels almost unshakable. Let this truth settle deeply within you. Your awakening has purpose. Your awakening has direction. Your awakening has meaning. Nothing about your transformation is accidental. Nothing about your evolution is random. You are being shaped, molded, and prepared for a life that requires all of the strength you gained, all of the resilience you learned, all of the insight you earned through the paths you walked. Each moment of your past is a building block for your future. Each struggle is a stepping stone. Each victory, a signal. Each loss, a lesson. None of it was wasted. None of it was meaningless. None of it was for nothing. You have stepped into the beginning of your greatest chapter, and you may not fully see its shape yet, but you can feel its power. The world can feel it too. They talk because they sense your rise. They whisper because they see your glow. They wonder because they have no explanation for the strength they witness. And though they cannot tell your full story, they know something within you has awakened, and they know it will change everything. And now, as you stand at the edge of everything you were and everything you are becoming, understand this one truth. Your awakening was not a mistake. It was not an accident. It was not a moment born from chance. It was the natural rise of a spirit that refused to remain small, a spirit that endured, a spirit that grew, a spirit that held on, even when the world felt too heavy to carry. You have come too far to doubt yourself. Now, you have grown too strong to question your worth. You have risen too high to ever return to who you once were. Everyone's talking, but their voices cannot define you. Their words cannot shape your destiny. Their confusion cannot weaken your direction. They do not need to understand your path because it is yours alone, and the power awakening in you does not require their approval. It requires your belief, your commitment, your courage, your willingness to step forward, even when the world does not recognize who you are becoming. You do not realize what you awakened, but soon you will. It will reveal itself in the life you build, in the strength you show, in the dreams you claim, and in the moments when you stand tall, knowing you earned every part of your transformation. You will realize that everything you overcame, everything. Ladies and gentlemen, they thought you were just another chapter in their book, didn't they? Another name to scribble on the pages of their life story, a footnote to be forgotten. But what they failed to see was that you were not a chapter. You were the turning point. You were the storm they never saw coming. You were the lesson they needed but refused to acknowledge. And in the end, you succeeded. You fulfilled your purpose, and God worked through you to make sure they learned the lesson they desperately needed to learn, even if they never realized it. They underestimated you. They treated you as though you were disposable, a temporary presence in their life, just another passing moment that would fade into nothingness. But they couldn't have been more wrong. You were more than they could ever understand. You were a force that had been set into motion by something greater than them, something that transcended their shallow perceptions of power control and self-righteousness. They thought they could break you. They thought they could manipulate you, mold you into something weak and pliable, something they could control. But they didn't know that the very thing they tried to crush would rise stronger than ever before. They saw you as insignificant, a small player in their game of life, and in their arrogance, they never realized that the entire game was being played by forces far beyond their comprehension. And while they tried to manipulate the pieces, they failed to see that you were the very catalyst that would change everything. You were the one they never saw coming. You were the storm that would sweep away their illusions and expose the cracks in their carefully constructed facades. You were not just another character in their story. You were the one who would reveal the truth behind the lies they so desperately clung to. And God worked through you to teach them the lesson they were too blind to learn on their own. You may never know the full extent of the impact you had on them, but let me tell you this. You have succeeded. You have fulfilled your purpose, and you have proven that even in the darkest of moments, God's plan will prevail. They thought they were in control. They thought they had power. But in the end, it was you who held the key to their awakening. You were the lesson they needed to face the truth about themselves, about their actions, and about the consequences of their arrogance. Through you, they were forced to confront their own demons, their own shortcomings, their own inability to see beyond their own selfish desires. They were forced to reckon with the reality that their actions had consequences, that their manipulation and deceit would not go unnoticed, that the lies they told would eventually catch up with them. They never saw it coming, but you were the one who made them face the truth. You were the one who showed them that their actions have weight and that no one escapes the consequences of their choices. You see, sometimes we are placed in people's lives not to be their savior, but to be the mirror that reflects their flaws, their weaknesses, and their hypocrisy. You weren't there to fix them. You weren't there to make them feel better. You were there to show them who they really are and who they could become if only they would take responsibility for their actions. It wasn't your job to carry the weight of their mistakes, but it was your job to make them confront the truth about themselves. And in doing so, you succeeded. You became the vessel through which God's lesson was delivered. They thought they could ignore you. They thought they could dismiss you. They thought they could walk all over you. But they couldn't have been more wrong, because you weren't a passive bystander in their story. You were an active participant in the unfolding of a greater plan. You were the wake-up call they didn't want to hear, but desperately needed to hear. You were the test that revealed their true character, the trial that exposed their deepest fears and insecurities. And in the end, you succeeded in making them see the truth, no matter how painful it was. God worked through you, not because you were perfect, not because you were the most qualified or the most equipped, but because you were willing to be the instrument of change, even in the face of adversity. You didn't back down when the world tried to crush you. You didn't run when they tried to break you. You stood tall, and you let God's power flow through you to fulfill the purpose that was set before you. And in doing so, you became the very thing that they needed the lesson. They refused to learn the truth. They refused to face. It's easy to get lost in the noise of the world, to get caught up in the expectations of others, to believe that we are defined by the opinions and judgments of those around us. But the truth is that we are defined by something far greater than the temporary perceptions of the people in our lives. You were not defined by their judgments. You were defined by the divine purpose that was set within you, the purpose that would ultimately bring them to their knees and force them to reckon with the reality they had spent their lives avoiding. You may never see the full impact of what you've done. You may never receive the recognition you deserve, but know this: you have succeeded. You have fulfilled the purpose that God set before you, and you have proven that even in the darkest moments, there is a higher plan at work. You were never just a chapter in their story. You were the force that would bring them face to face with their own darkness. And in the process, you became the instrument of change that would shift the course of their lives forever. So hold your head high. Know that you have done what you were meant to do. You have been the vessel through which God's message was delivered, and you have succeeded in teaching them the lesson they needed to learn. You may never receive an apology, you may never get the closure you deserve, but remember that you don't need their approval to know that you have fulfilled your purpose. You don't need their recognition to understand that you have succeeded. The lesson was never about them. It was about you and the role you played in the greater plan that was unfolding. You were never meant to be forgotten. You were meant to be the catalyst that ignited the change they so desperately needed. They will never forget you. They may try to bury the memory of what you taught them, but deep down, they will always carry the weight of your lesson. They will always remember the truth that you exposed the reality they tried so hard to avoid. And in the end, you will stand tall, knowing that God worked through you to teach them the lesson they needed to learn. You succeeded because you were the truth. They could not escape the force that would change their lives forever. And that is something that no one can ever take from you. They can attempt to erase your impact, to rewrite the narrative of what you did. But the truth, the lesson, and the power that came through you are indelible. No matter how much they try to twist the story in their favor, no matter how much they attempt to minimize the role you played, deep inside, they will always know the truth. The truth of who you were to them, the truth of what you did, and the truth of how you changed the course of their lives forever. That truth will linger, echoing in their hearts, even when they try to suppress it. And that is the victory. That is the triumph that no one can ever take from you. You see, sometimes in life, you don't get the recognition you deserve in the moment. Sometimes you walk through the fire and the world doesn't stop to applaud you. They don't throw a parade for you. They don't lift you up and they don't shower you with praise. Instead, you are vilified, misunderstood, and rejected. But there's a greater force at work. God worked through you, not for applause, but for a deeper purpose. His purpose. And that purpose transcends the fleeting applause of the crowd. It transcends the opinions of the people who don't understand your journey. Your mission wasn't to win them over. Your mission was to deliver the lesson they desperately needed, whether they were ready to receive it or not. You may not have seen it in the moment, but that challenge, that moment of confrontation, that hardship you faced, those were all part of a divine orchestration. God was using you to fulfill a purpose far greater than your understanding. Those who doubted you, those who tried to push you down, were merely players in the story God was weaving. They were pawns, unaware that they were fulfilling a purpose beyond their comprehension. And you were the instrument of transformation. They thought they were shaping you. They thought they were manipulating you. But in reality, they were unknowingly shaping themselves through the lessons you brought into their lives. Think about it for a moment. When they tried to break you, when they tried to reduce you to nothing, you didn't crumble. You stood firm, and in that firmness, God worked. In your resilience, God worked. In your silence, your refusal to give in to the toxic forces around you, God worked. You became the teacher, the living testament of a lesson that no one else could have delivered. You were the storm that would wipe away their arrogance, their ignorance, and their pride. And in their downfall, they would have no choice but to look back and realize that it was you who changed everything. The power of your influence is not measured by the immediate reactions of those around you. It is not measured by the accolades or the fleeting praise that some may give you in the moment. The true power lies in the subtle shifts that happen in the hearts of those you encounter. Even when they don't acknowledge it, even when they pretend that they have moved on, the seeds you planted within them will grow in ways they never expected. They may pretend that they have forgotten you, but the truth is that they can never forget the lesson you taught them. It is now a part of their soul, a truth embedded deep within their psyche, one that will challenge them long after you've gone. Have you ever thought about the fact that people often don't change when things are easy? They don't change when they are pampered or surrounded by comfort. They change when they are pushed to their breaking point, when they are forced to face something that is bigger than their ego, their pride, or their self-perception. And that's what you did. You were the catalyst for their transformation. Whether they liked it or not, you didn't force them to change, but your presence and your actions forced them to confront the parts of themselves they were unwilling to acknowledge. You gave them the opportunity to evolve, to grow, to become better versions of themselves. But here's the truth. Growth isn't always comfortable. Growth is painful. And God used your pain, your struggle, your journey to force them to grow. You were the mirror that reflected their flaws, their fears, and their sins. And in that reflection, they saw the ugliness they had been running from for so long. That's where their transformation began. God doesn't always call us to be the savior in someone else's story. Sometimes He calls us to be the lesson. He calls us to be the revelation that forces people to look inward, to examine themselves, and to confront their own darkness. And that is exactly what you did. You weren't there to coddle them or make them feel better. You weren't there to take away the consequences of their actions or to shield them from the truth. You were there to expose the reality they were too blind to see. You were there to be the truth they could no longer ignore. You were the test they had to pass to move forward in their journey. And in doing that, you succeeded. Even if they never said it out loud, even if they never showed you the respect or gratitude you deserve, you succeeded because God's plan was greater than their small-minded perspectives. Their failure to see your role in their life doesn't diminish the truth of what you did. In fact, it only proves that God's hand was at work. You were the force that brought about the change that was needed, and whether they accepted it or not, you had succeeded in fulfilling your divine purpose. Think about the strength that it took for you to carry out that mission. It's not easy to stand in the face of opposition, to endure the slings and arrows of people who misunderstand you. It's not easy to remain steadfast when the world around you is crumbling, but you did it. You remained steady. You didn't falter, even when it felt like everything was against you. And that strength, that courage, that endurance, that was God working through you. You may have thought you were alone, but you were never alone. Every step you took, every word you spoke, every decision you made was a part of a greater plan unfolding before your eyes. You were the vessel, the instrument, the tool through which God was shaping their lives, even if they didn't recognize it in the moment. They may have thought they had the upper hand. They may have believed they were in control, that they were the ones calling the shots. But what they failed to realize was that their arrogance would ultimately be their downfall. They thought they could break you, silence you, make you doubt yourself. But instead, they unknowingly gave you the strength to rise above them. And through your rise, they were forced to confront the very things they tried to bury. They couldn't escape your lesson, no matter how hard they tried. The lesson was inside of them now, in their hearts, in their minds, in their souls. And that's where true power lies. It's not in the immediate victory, not in the accolades, not in the recognition. True power lies in the transformation that happens deep within. When you're able to make someone face the truth, when you can bring them to a place where they cannot run from the reality of their own actions, that is where the true power is. And that is exactly what you did. You weren't there to please them. You weren't there to serve their egos. You were there to make them look in the mirror and see themselves for who they truly were. And for that, you succeeded. Now, as you move forward in your life, remember this. The work that God did through you doesn't stop with them. It doesn't end with the lesson you delivered to them. That lesson, that transformation, is part of a greater process. A process that continues to unfold in ways you may never fully understand. God worked through you, but His work in them has just begun. And as they face the consequences of their actions, as they struggle with the truth you exposed, know this. Your role in their life was never about them in the first place. It was about fulfilling a greater purpose. It was about helping them grow, even if they didn't want to. So stand tall, hold your head high. The battle you fought was never for the applause. It was for the greater purpose that was set before you. And you succeeded. Even when they tried to tear you down, you rose. Even when they tried to make you feel small, you became the giant they could never conquer. You were the lesson they never expected, but the one they needed. And in the end, you were the victory that God had destined all along. And no one, not them, not the world, can ever take that from you. They may have tried to strip you of your dignity, your strength, and your sense of self-worth. They may have thought that by casting you aside or belittling you, they could extinguish the power that was within you. But what they failed to understand is that the true power you possess does not come from them or from anyone around you. It comes from a deeper source, a source that transcends human limitations, a source that runs through your veins like a river of purpose, a river that can never be dammed or diverted by the hands of mere mortals. That power is not only yours, it is God's power flowing through you, moving you toward the fulfillment of a greater purpose than they could ever comprehend. They can take your time, they can take your resources, and they can take your peace of mind, but they can never take the essence of who you are, the truth of your being, the essence of what you were meant to accomplish in this world. You were born with a purpose that is as unique as the very breath in your lungs. No one can erase that, no one can silence it, and no one can deny it. It doesn't matter how much they try to minimize your role in their lives, how much they attempt to rewrite the story of what you did. In the end, it is the power that comes from God that will echo through eternity. In life, people may seek to diminish you, to make you doubt your worth, and to convince you that your struggle was for nothing. They may try to define you by their limited perception of you, to cast you into a mold that does not fit who you are. But let me tell you this, you are not defined by what they think of you. You are defined by the purpose that resides in your heart and the divine calling that set you on this journey. That purpose cannot be touched by their mockery, their judgment, or their disregard for you. It is unshakable, unmovable, and eternal. You may never see it in full. You may never get the recognition or the applause you deserve, but the impact of your actions will ripple across time and space in ways you can never fully comprehend. When you walk through the trials of life, you don't always see the fruit of your labor. The seeds you plant sometimes take years to grow, but that doesn't mean they weren't planted, and it doesn't mean that they won't bear fruit. What you did, what you endured, what you overcame, it all matters. Every action you took, every word you spoke, every sacrifice you made was a piece of the puzzle that is bigger than you can see. You were sent into their lives, not by accident, but by divine appointment. There were moments when you thought you were lost, when you felt like you were drowning in the weight of everything around you. But even in those moments of doubt and despair, God was working through you. He was using you, even when you didn't see it. He was crafting a story, not only for you, but for those who came in contact with you. They were not simply existing beside you. They were living in a space that was carefully orchestrated for their growth, and you were the vessel of that transformation. As you look back on your journey, remember that you didn't get to this point by accident. Every challenge, every setback, every time you were knocked down and chose to rise again, it all played a part in shaping the person you are today. And what you've become is not something that can be easily dismissed or ignored. You are a person of strength, of purpose, and of unwavering resilience. And this resilience, this strength, didn't come from any external source. It came from the core of who you are, the God-given power that resides in you. But here's the thing. While others may try to diminish your significance, it's not just about you proving them wrong. It's not just about showing them that they were wrong, to doubt you, to discard you, or to underestimate your potential. It's about recognizing that your journey was never meant to be for their validation. You weren't created to live for the applause of others. You weren't placed on this earth to please people who can't even see the fullness of your being. You were placed here for a purpose that goes far beyond any fleeting recognition or acceptance. They may never understand the full extent of what you did. They may never acknowledge the ways in which you shaped their lives. And in fact, they may never even know the depths of their own transformation. But here's what you need to remember. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because your work, your mission was never about them. It was about fulfilling the purpose that was set before you, long before you even knew what it meant. It was about being the instrument of change in a world that is desperately in need of it. It was about living out the plan that God had written for you before the foundation of the earth. This is the true meaning of success. It's not in the tangible rewards, not in the recognition, and not in the applause. The true meaning of success is in knowing that you have fulfilled your purpose, that you have been faithful to the calling that was placed on your life. It's in knowing that you didn't let the voices of doubt, the whispers of fear, or the mockery of those who couldn't see your worth stop you from walking the path that was laid before you. It's in knowing that you were a vessel of change, even when the world tried to convince you that your efforts were in vain. You will face moments in life where you feel like your efforts have been futile. You will encounter times when you question whether it was worth it, whether everything you endured had a purpose. But let me tell you something. It was worth it. Every single moment, every hardship, every tear, every sleepless night, every sacrifice you made, it was worth it. You were never alone in it. Even when you couldn't feel His presence, God was working through you, shaping you, preparing you for something greater than you could ever imagine. You are not defined by the mistakes of others. You are not defined by the pain they caused you. You are defined by the purpose that God has placed within you. And that purpose is eternal. That purpose cannot be erased. It cannot be silenced. No matter what happens, no matter how much they try to diminish your worth, your essence will live on. You are part of something much bigger than you realize. A plan that spans beyond time and space. A plan that will have ripple effects for generations to come. The impact you've had, the lesson you've delivered, is far-reaching and will continue to shape lives even after you're gone. In the grand scheme of things, the opinions of others are small. Their judgments, their criticisms, their misunderstandings, they are small compared to the greatness of the divine plan that is unfolding through you. The world may never fully understand the depth of your journey, but that's okay. Your worth isn't measured by their understanding. It's measured by your obedience to the call that was placed on your life. And when you stand before God, He will look at you with eyes that see the fullness of what you've done, the completeness of your purpose. He will see how you carried out His will, even when it was difficult, even when the world was against you. And He will say, "Well done, good and faithful servant." And when that day comes, you will know deep in your soul that everything you went through, everything you endured, was worth it. Because in the end, it wasn't about the approval of others. It was about fulfilling the purpose that was set before you. It was about being the instrument of change that God used to teach others, to show them the truth they couldn't see, and to lead them toward their own transformation. And that is a victory that no one can ever take from you. So walk in the fullness of who you are. Do not shrink back because of the rejection or the ridicule. Do not allow the world to make you question your worth. You are more than the sum of their opinions. You are more than the judgments they place upon you. You are a vessel of change, a carrier of divine purpose, and you are unstoppable. No matter how much they try to diminish your value, no matter how hard they try to silence you, you will continue to rise. You will continue to fulfill your purpose, because God is working through you, and that is something no one, no force, and no power in this world can ever take from you. Your success is not in the recognition of others. It is in the fulfillment of the divine purpose that was placed on your life. And as long as you walk in that purpose, you will always be victorious. They can take everything else, but they cannot take your purpose. And that is the greatest victory of all. In the end, remember this. The world may try to diminish your worth, to erase your impact, but they cannot take away your purpose. God has worked through you to fulfill a divine plan, and that is something eternal. You were never just another chapter in their story. You were the lesson they needed to grow. Your strength, resilience, and unwavering faith have shaped lives in ways they may never understand. And as you continue on your journey, know that no matter what comes your way, your purpose will always remain unshakable. The victory is yours, and it is one that no one can ever take from you.